Testing. Welcome in. Yet again, YouTube did not work. Thanks for joining in on Twitch. Not sure what is going on with my OBS, but keeps crashing. So thank you. Welcome Twitch. users, Twitch viewers. Welcome in. Welcome in. Apologies to those who came in from YouTube. No clue what is going on with YouTube. But, yeah. Happy Canada Day. Happy belated Canada Day. I am going extra casual today. Super cash. And then happy 4th of July to my American audience out there. I know it's not the 4th yet, but you'll be celebrating that. You'll be celebrating that this weekend. Are you guys celebrating this weekend, the weekend that we're in right now, or next weekend for the 4th? Anyways, let's not dilly-dally too much. I want to take a look at Bitcoin. So why don't we just go over to the live screen right now? And we're going to start off with Bitcoin on the daily. So we're still under this 30K resistance. It's a tricky spot. It's a tricky area to try and grind through. But let's take a look at here on the 4-hour. We kind of have... Let me just turn my drawings back on. We kind of have a messy symmetrical triangle. We have a low, and then we have a higher low. And we have, a high and then a lower high. And then we have a low, and then we have a series of higher lows. So it's not clean, it's not pretty, but it's a consolidation, and this consolidation is showing us lower highs, and it is showing us higher lows. This is a good thing. Celebrating on the 4th. Yeah, but the 4th is going to be Tuesday, right? Tuesday? I guess you get the day off. I don't know what it's like in the US, but in Canada, when you get a holiday on a weekday, they move it to the weekend. Yeah, so, it's consolidating. I expect a breakout. It's a bull flag. It's bull pennant until proven otherwise. A lot of people waiting for a pullback. A lot of people hoping for a pullback. I personally am going to take the bias of a bullish bias. Why? Because we have a lot of bullish things to look at. We have the alpha numerics indicator has turned green. We have a beautiful, very strong movement out of this. So if we copy and paste that onto the next move up, we'd be targeting $36,000, $37,000 if we got a break of this bull pennant. Yeah, the herd is always wrong, and everybody's talking about a pullback. Everybody wants a pullback. Everybody wants, a retrace of 25K. We already did the retrace of 25K, and nobody bought it. We're not going to get another retrace to 25K. Is my thoughts on that. Let's go to the weekly just for a moment. Just remind ourselves that we're under this 30K resistance. Pretty strong 30K resistance. Right here. And I think that once we clear 32, there's nothing holding us back. There really isn't. Once we clear 32, it's 41. Easily 41 to 45. There's just nothing in this area to slow us down. And it's going to take a lot of people off guard. It's going to cause a lot of short liquidations. It's going to cause a lot of FOMO buying. It's going to cause a lot of people who were sidelined to finally capitulate into the move. And only when the sideliners are capitulated in will the top form, and then we will trade down. Now, as far as my prediction, I think we kind of go somewhere up in the 40s, and then we consolidate and grind down, or we come back down and retest here at 30 and trade sideways for a bit. It's still early. The halving is happening in 2024. We're not going to get a new all-time high before the halving. It's not impossible, but it's highly improbable that we get a new all-time high before 2024, before the halving. But once the halving comes, from the halving forwards, it's going to be a really good time. I think, historically speaking, cycle to cycle, we get some good movements. We get a lot of hype. We get a lot of people in post-halving. Once the halving comes in, the market is required to reprice Bitcoin, because we now have new issuance schedule. So the market needs to decide on this very big fundamental variable. What is the true cost of Bitcoin? What is the price of Bitcoin? What do we anticipate we're going to land? What does the market think is the true fair value price? And once it does that, what it typically does is it moves up. It moves up to, a fair price of Bitcoin. It'll come up, it'll finally break the all-time high, it'll test, and it'll begin to rally. And that's going to cause a lot of FOMO. It's going to cause a lot of headlines. Crypto will be back. Crypto is better than ever, stronger than ever. You're going to have a whole bunch of bullish narratives. You're going to have a whole bunch of new users bring new money into the ecosystem. And then what happens? It gets overbought. It gets overpriced. Once it gets overpriced, the big players, the people who have been accumulating, much like yourself, accumulating in this time frame, accumulating in 2023, accumulating up to and near the halving, are going to be selling their bags to those who are coming in late and coming in as a result of the headlines and people saying, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened to humanity. When a good tell, a good market sentiment check for you. This happens to everybody. It happens to everybody because we're excited about blockchain. We talk about it all the time. We talk about Bitcoin. Everybody knows we have it. Nobody cares that we have it. And then every cycle at the top, people you have not spoken with for years, sometimes decades, will find you on Facebook, or they'll find you somehow. They'll find your number, or they'll email you, and they'll be like, "Hey, what's up with this Bitcoin thing? Like, should I buy? Should I get into this? What do you think of this garbage shitcoin? What do you think of that?" When we're past the halving and we're going parabolic, and all you hear is crypto, and all you hear, the pop culture and celebrities, and you see Doge on SNL, that kind of stuff, and then your friends are calling you asking, "Hey, tell me about this Bitcoin stuff." That's when you sell. That's when you sell. Macro approach. I want to show you guys a fun little chart. This is a free indicator on TradingView. If you go to indicators, type in DCA Bitcoin, and you will see this DCA price plus realized price log regression curve. And it's going to show you when you should be looking to accumulate Bitcoin and when you should be looking to sell Bitcoin. So as you can see here, we're in the green. You are in the accumulation zone. If you're watching this, if you're involved in crypto, if you're DCAing, this is a fantastic tool. Super simple. This is on a monthly chart on the logarithmic scale. Very, very easy. When you're in the green, you're accumulating. And it doesn't matter if you get Bitcoin at 25. It doesn't matter if you get Bitcoin at 12,000. It doesn't matter if you get Bitcoin at $40,000. You're in the accumulation zone. Any price below $37,982 is considered a good price for Bitcoin. This does trend to the upside, so the longer we accumulate, the longer this can, the higher the prices can go. But you're in the green, my friend. So depending on your trading strategy, depending on your trading methods, you are in a good place to be accumulating. And then once you start to cross into this red territory, you want to be listening to the herd. You want to be listening to the sentiment. And this is when, if somebody calls you out of the clear blue sky and says, "Hey, how do I get into Bitcoin?" You say, "You don't, I'm selling it." And that's a good strategy. If you follow that time and time again over decades, you'll be a very happy person. Very happy person. Now, let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance, because it's trending down. Not really trending down. Oops, didn't mean to draw that. Not really trending down on the higher time frames. But if we take a look at the daily, we did get a little bit of a move down. So it's highly probable that we could come down here and retest the top of the range before continuing up. Now, when you see red candles on Bitcoin dominance, it's good for altcoins. And we are seeing good follow through on altcoins. It's not something that I'm looking to position myself into right now. I'm basically not going to be buying altcoins heavily for trades until we are past the halving, until we are past the all-time high break. That being said, it is a good time to be accumulating a few venture capital bets, some very, very small bets, like $100 bets somewhere throughout the market. I've been placing my chips in the ordinal space. I think that ordinals are going to be a big factor for the next cycle, because it's a new innovation that the market doesn't really know about, that the market's not really paying attention to. There are shit coins on Bitcoin now. And then there's NFTs on Bitcoin, and there's going to be DeFi protocols on Bitcoin. So it's a whole new sector that's going to form, develop, and get hyped and overbought. So my venture capital bucket has been allocating quite, not heavily. You don't allocate heavily into venture capital, but a lot of funds have been going towards the ordinal space of Bitcoin. I've got some BRC20 tokens. I got a bunch of those bitmaps, which is the metaverse on Bitcoin, or at least the metaverse standard on Bitcoin. And yeah, I think that that's going to be a pretty interesting narrative moving forwards. But other than that, I'm not going to be buying a lot of these macro trade coins. I was buying I was taking a few bets on like Litecoin and Cardano. I think the best moves that you're going to see with those coins, excuse me, is going to be once we break past the all-time high. Once we break past the all-time high, it's going to get nuts. And it doesn't really matter. Like, a lot of stuff is performing decently in dollar terms, but in Bitcoin terms, it's not. And what that means to me as a trader is there's no rush, because I'm not outperforming Bitcoin. Yes, Cardano might move. Yes, XRP might move. Yes, Litecoin might move. But it's not moving faster than Bitcoin. So because it's not moving faster than Bitcoin, there's no rush. I don't need to be buying the accumulation zone of an altcoin, because the accumulation zone of an altcoin is at par or worse than the accumulation zone of Bitcoin. So if you're new to the cycle, if you're new to these market dynamics, and you're heavily invested in altcoins and you're looking for the signal to buy into altcoins, I want you to start to try and learn how to read Bitcoin charts, Bitcoin pair charts. Now we're going to take a look at Ethereum BTC. Now Ethereum BTC did have a nice candle here of about 5%. So that's 4.27% that it did better than Bitcoin. But when you zoom out and go to, say, the 3-day chart, it's not pretty, right? So depending on your time horizon, depending on how long you plan to be in the trade, from a long-term hold perspective of Ethereum, there's no advantage for you to be holding Ethereum over Bitcoin. But there are much better security advantages over holding Bitcoin than there are Ethereum. So because it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other, you may as well just be holding the highest market cap, most secure coin, because you're not going to outperform. We see it right here. This is very clear. Bitcoin is doing the same, if not better, than Ethereum. So until Ethereum can break past this consolidation, until it can begin to create a bullish trend in Bitcoin terms, I'm not in a rush. All right, Matt G, if we get to 40 or 50 billions of inflows from ETFs, how high do we go this cycle? What do we think? There's only 10 people in the chat right now. What do you guys think? How high do we go in the cycle? What are some targets that you think are feasible for Bitcoin? And I'll tell you my thoughts as well. I think that there's a very interesting thing that's happening currently that's leaning into some of the numbers that I'm thinking about, that I'm looking at. And it's mostly to do with, again, ordinal inscriptions. Since the Taproot upgrade on Bitcoin, we have programmability. We had programmability with Bitcoin before for payments, but now we have programmability for DeFi, Metaverse, NFTs, BRC20 tokens. We have so much more programmability for Bitcoin now. What do we typically see in bull markets? We typically see Bitcoin goes up, it creates hype, people get excited and they start to buy in. Then they realize there's a whole bunch of other tokens, and they start to take the market cap from Bitcoin and they put it into other projects. Now, what's exciting with ordinal inscriptions is they can come into Bitcoin, they can look at the market and see, oh, there's other stuff here. There's other things going on that I can put my money into. But the thing is, they're putting it into a project that exists on the Bitcoin network. So all of the capital outflows that we saw in the past that went to Ethereum, all of the capital outflows that we saw going into Cardano, all of the capital outflows that we saw going into Solana, all the capital outflows that we saw going into Matic are now going to be capital outflows that are inside of the Bitcoin ecosystem, potentially. And I think that that is going to be pretty profound and could potentially be fodder for a cycle that returns a higher return. You're already hearing everybody in the market saying Bitcoin is what you do if you want to invest in something that has diminishing returns, because that has been the trend. You know, there has been diminishing returns in Bitcoin. This cycle, you know, you did 40,000%. This cycle, you did 6,000%. This cycle, you did 1,800%. So it's diminishing returns. I think there is a potential if capital flow stays inside of the Bitcoin ecosystem during a bull market, that we actually see increasing returns. So what if, you know, we get the scenario where, you know, this was 1,500%. Well, maybe we go back to a 6,000% move or an 8,000% move. What would that look like in the price of Bitcoin? Well, 8,000% would be $1.4 million a coin. Not saying it goes that high, but what I'm saying is I do believe that there is a potential fundamentally that will increase the capital flow of money on the Bitcoin network that will give us, that will break the downtrend of diminishing returns and give us an uptrend of increasing returns. I think that that is a plausible potential. All right. Matt G is saying 300K. I think, yes. I think specifically, I think much more if ordinals, if we have DeFi on Bitcoin. I think at least $500,000. Probably between your guess of 300 to my guess of about $500,000. News on the trade bot for BitGet. We are having a launch party. I haven't scheduled the time yet, but we are going to be having a launch party on July 10th. The free trading bot will go live on July 10th. If you guys aren't already set up, you can get set up ahead of time so that your downtime, not downtime, your ability to get into a trade with the bot will be shorter. You can get your API connected to BitGet right away. Follow the links down below to get your free Bitcoin trading bot that will nail the cycle to cycle. We've done it in the past and we're going to do it again. So if you are interested, links below. But yeah, that will be launching on July 10th, and we're going to have a launch party July 10th. Me and the creator, Matt, we're going to hop on and answer all the questions, and hopefully it's not too much API stuff. But yeah, if you guys aren't already in the chat, if you are in the Discord, if you aren't already set up, feel free. We've got a lot of tutorials. We got a lot of walkthroughs for the API, and you can get set up right away. $50 billion worth of new money probably increases the market cap by 1 to 1.5 trillion. It depends on the supply. So this is actually kind of an interesting point as well. It really depends on the supply. There's something very interesting happening. Let's just go over to Glassnode real quick. Log into Glassnode. Supply is very low. So what a lot of people think is they think money going in equals price go up. And I talk about this all the time, how it's just not that simple. It has to do with the agreed upon price between two people. And that usually occurs on the order book. Why are we not logging in? What's going on here? There we go. Worked. Third time's a charm. Nope. Why are you not logging in? All right. Well, I was just going to point out that available supply is like 10%. 10% of the Bitcoin that is even on the markets at all. Not necessarily on the order book, but just available in exchange treasuries, available in wallets that don't hold long term. There's not a lot of Bitcoin. There's about 10% of the Bitcoin available. Now, if we see a doubling in demand, price is just going to fucking fly. It's going to absolutely moon. You're going to see moves that you did not think were possible on the Bitcoin network. You're going to see prices that you did not think were possible on the Bitcoin network, because market cap is not money flow. Market cap is the theoretical price of the entire network based off of the last price that was paid. If you buy a phone for $100 and you sell it for $200, that price for that phone has a market price of $200. So it's not a capital flow thing. It's an agreement. And when something is hard to get your hands on, you have to bid higher to be able to convince somebody to sell it to you. So that's how you get a spread. That's how you really get price moving very rapidly. And we have not seen the levels of Bitcoin available on exchanges that we've seen. We haven't seen Bitcoin available at these the available supply since, back here. There's no Bitcoin available. There's really no Bitcoin. And look at how easily price moved in this context. Insane moves, absolutely insane moves. Now, to give yourself a little bit more of a hopium dose, the adoption curve is kind of like this, right? Where it's accelerated, then it slows down, and then you have hyper Bitcoinization where it increases again, and then it slows down again. This is called an S curve. These S curves happen a lot in technology. They happen a lot in network effects. They happen a lot when the whole world doesn't use something and then the whole world goes to using something. I think that this is a potential as well. A lot of people think that the Bitcoin market cap, for whatever reason, we don't have any users. They think that it's just going to do this and it's just going to flatline. It's not just going to flatline. Nobody uses it. Nobody uses it. We are so niche. We need to have increased rates of adoption, which will cause increased rates of demand, which will cause increased rates of price. It's going to be an S curve. It's going to be an S shape before it tapers off. It's not just going to be a simple rainbow shape. It's not just going to be a simple curve. So I'm bullish, if you can't tell. I'm bullish. Let's go back over to ETH BTC. Let's just take a look at ETH on the dollar pair. Let's turn off alphanumerics for a bit. We're still below this really important line of resistance. We need to get above 2K. Once we get above 2K, there's nothing holding us up to, 2,700, 2,500, and I think it'll cap out potentially at $3,500. Nobody's talking about $3,500 ETH. If Bitcoin breaks past 30 and goes up to 40, we're going to see Ethereum up at around 3,500. Any workaround for USA people? So here's the thing about America in general is nobody wants to take responsibility for Americans because everybody is afraid of the SEC. American users, like all users globally, need to take responsibility for their own actions because they are not protected. If you ask an entity, am I allowed to do this thing? And you are an American, the answer will always be no. No, you're not. Why? The answer will always be no, because nobody wants to take responsibility for Americans because they have the SEC to protect them. There is no workaround, is the official answer. You can, access the platform. BitGet is not geofencing. They're not restricting. There are VPNs available. But if you ask me, are Americans included? We're limited on what we can offer. And the official answer is no. So Ethereum, I think very, very plausible. Very plausible to get up to this range, especially if we're looking at like a $45,000, $48,000 Bitcoin. Very plausible to see us up at this range for Ethereum. If it doesn't get up here, that's going to be a very interesting signal to the market, okay? Let's just pretend for a moment that Bitcoin gets up to $45,000. Let's pretend it's up at 45,000. If Ethereum is not up at this level, if Ethereum is not at $32,000 or $3,000, if it's not close, that's a very early warning sign to get the fuck out of Ethereum, okay? We don't have any data to speculate on right now. I'm just saying that we really need to start comparing the price performance of different assets. Let's actually set up a comparison chart right now so you can see how to do that. Let's go to BTC USD Bitstamp chart. Turn off alphanumerics. Let's turn on the line chart. Let's get this out of the way. Let's get the RSI out of the way, and let's do the daily. And let's go year to date. Nope. Let's do 1 year in frame. 1 year. I don't want to do 5 years. No, we got to do 1 year. 1 year in frame. Okay. And now let's add ETH. And now let's add Cardano. And we'll add Doge. And we'll add Solana. And we'll add, what else do we want to add? AVAX. Let's add what else should we add? What should we add? Matic. And what are some other bullshit things? Litecoin. Okay. And now you have comparative analysis. Okay, let's actually turn the candles back on for Bitcoin so you can see. So Bitcoin over a 1 year period, let's actually go year to date. We'll go year to date. Bitcoin over, since the beginning of this year, is up 85%. Okay. Litecoin, no. Solana, no. What is this? Who is this? Avalanche? No. Solana's up that much? Solana's up 100% over the year? Doesn't look like that when you look at the, looks like it's in accumulation. Want my crypto jungle back? Crypto jungle is gone. It still exists. If you left the group, it's gone for you. All right. Ethereum has not outperformed Bitcoin since the beginning of the year. Litecoin has not outperformed Bitcoin. Basically, the only one that's outperformed Bitcoin is Solana, which I'm actually quite surprised at looking at this data. I'm very surprised to see that Solana, out of all these other ones, has outperformed Bitcoin. And the one that's done the poorest has been Matic, followed by Doge, followed by Cardano. Those are not surprising to me. Followed by Avalanche. So yeah, this is how you can do a comparative analysis. Comparative analysis is really important when you're in a bear market. When assets are leaving a bearish trend or leaving a sideways consolidation and heading into a bullish trend, you need to be really paying attention to comparative analysis. Let's actually get total in here as well, because total is really the total market cap. Let's add total. So total is in red here. The total market cap is up 53%. So there are only 3 altcoins that have been outperforming the market. Those altcoins are Litecoin, Ethereum, and Solana. Litecoin, Ethereum, and Solana have been outperforming the market since the beginning of the year. And Bitcoin's up 85%. So Bitcoin's been outperforming the market as a whole, just underneath Solana. But yeah, so when you're in this sideways trading environment, which I think we're going to be in for pretty much all of 2023, there's still a lot of volatility in sideways when you're in crypto. But do your comparative analysis, because if you're buying coins from the previous cycle, you better make sure that they are outperforming Bitcoin. You better make sure that they are outperforming the total market. If they are below it, don't waste your time. Don't waste your capital. I guess alpha numerics indicator works for any asset. Could you show it on the S&P 500 or the SPY BTC to see a correlation between markets? It does work okay on equities. You just need to crank up some of the parameters. So let's go to the SPY. Let's turn alphanumerics on. Let's go to the, and you have to put up the time frames as well. So we're going to go to the monthly chart, and we need to switch the settings in alphanumerics. I got to remember to put this back because I have it set for crypto. But we need the monthly SAR. Yeah, just the monthly SAR. So alphanumerics on the S&P. When the wave turns green, you do got to switch it to monthly instead of weekly. And then the assets that you're looking at are weekly instead of the 3-day or 2-week, higher time frames, because this stuff just moves slower. The waves in the traditional finance are much slower. So when it turns green, what did we get? We got from the green to the red, 32% move in the S&P on the last one, saving you a drawdown of saving you a drawdown of 6%. Big whoop. Back here in 2016, you got in at the green, got out at the red for, again, a 30% move. 30% in the S&P 500 is nothing to shake a stick at. It's just also not something I'm really interested in because, that was over a 2-year period for that rally from open to close. It was 2 years on alphanumerics. To get 30%. I mean, it's nice to know when you should be allocating funds to a safe haven asset. The S&P 500 should really be looked at as a place that's better than cash. If you were trying to preserve purchasing power, the last place you want to be is cash. Traditionally, when you didn't want a cash position, you would buy treasury bonds. But I think in the manipulated market that we live in now, if you're trying to preserve capital, if you're trying to preserve purchasing power, then it's really the S&P. The S&P always goes up. The reason for that is it is based off of the 500 strongest stocks in the stock market. When something is not doing well, it gets removed and it gets replaced with something that is doing well. So it is kind of a good fund over the long run, and 30% is not a bad thing. So if you're looking to, DCA into the S&P, turn alphanumerics to the monthly. When the wave is green, DCA away. When the wave is red, look to take profits, and stop DCAing into the S&P. Now, SPX BTC, no clue how that's going to look. I'll just go S&P and change this to BTC. Ooh. Should have bought Bitcoin. Just stick to Bitcoin. The Bitcoin has drastically, it looks like a fucking bear market. Look at how bad it is. Looks like an absolute bear market. So if you were wondering what to hold, Bitcoin or the S&P, I mean, it's clear as day. Not surprisingly that you want to be holding Bitcoin. Appreciate the insight. Thank you. I wonder if the crypto market is still correlated with the traditional one. Right now, the correlation is very, very low because the volume is very low. Nobody's really trading right now. Nobody cares about crypto right now. If you are, somebody who is just a crypto tourist, you're gone. It's only the people that are kind of bought into the vision or kind of get or understand blockchain technology that are still going to be around. Because there's better opportunities in Forex, there's better opportunities in the stock market. So you don't really have a lot of incentive to stick around. Now that will change once we get closer to the halving. That will bring liquidity, that will bring interest, that'll bring capital flow and speculation and traders. But right now, it's all over the market. It's all over the map. Like sometimes it's correlated with gold, other times it's correlated with traditional finance, sometimes it's risk on assets, sometimes it's safe havens. So the answer is it's not really correlated to anything. It's really doing its own thing based off of the fact that nobody gives a shit about crypto right now. So I would say that it's not really correlated at all with anything. It's just doing its own thing, which will be good. It's good for it to be decoupled from all other influences. All right, let's take a look at some BRC20 shitcoins. Not that it really matters with the BRC20 stuff. These are some of the ones that you might want to take a look at for these venture capital bets that I was mentioning at the beginning of the show. I think ordinals are going to be a big narrative. You can see how new they are, but yeah, basically the S&P is the new bond allocation and Bitcoin replaces equities pretty much. Yeah. Good summary. But yeah, ordinals, it seems to be bottoming. Is bottoming. Nols seems to be bottoming. Meme, this is one that I have an allocation in just kind of by accident. No real fundamentals. I just minted a bunch of these. Is bottoming at around $15. Pepe 1. Now it's going to be really interesting to see how Pepe plays out because so many people got into the Ethereum Pepe and there is a BRC20 Pepe. Who fucking knows with meme coins? They're always a joke. It's always the community narratives that take over. There's really no placing bets with these types of coins. But it'll be interesting to see how the market handles the confusion if this Pepe does rally. Because everybody's going to be like, well, it's not the real Pepe. The Pepe that we know is on the Ethereum network. And yeah, but that's not the one that's rallying. The one that's rallying is on the Bitcoin network. That'll be an interesting one. Same with Pizza, same thing. Pizza. This one's more of a downtrend. Pepe has a bottom with a higher low. Yeah. Those are some BRC20 shitcoins if you want to go take a look at those. See you later. There's not much left, Milan. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So to summarize, we're looking at Bitcoin here. We're looking at Bitcoin dominance is beginning to kind of fall. So we could have a little bit of an altcoin rally, especially if we come as low as a retest of 50% on Bitcoin. We could see a little bit of an alt rally. Not an alt rally that I'm really going to get too excited about. Not one that I'm really looking to participate in just because of where I think we are in the market cycle. Most coins are not outperforming Bitcoin, as we saw from our comparative analysis over here. Oh, no, we got rid of our comparative analysis. Most coins are not outperforming Bitcoin. So there's really no rush. If you feel a lot of pressure, if you feel a lot of anxiety being like, oh shit, I got to pick some coins or I got to make my portfolio or whatever, like I don't know what to do, there's really nothing to be anxious about. Most of the market is not outperforming Bitcoin, so you have a lot of time. The place, if you just want to make a move, just make a move into Bitcoin, and then you'll know that you have exposure. And then you can make decisions on the assets that you think are going to outperform Bitcoin. But yeah, I don't see too many of them outperforming at the moment. And then Bitcoin itself is looking for a breakout. I'm watching for a breakout here down on the 4 hour. Want to break out of this symmetrical triangle that we have marked here. This is what I'm watching. If we get a break of this line, hold it with some volume, breakout of this, hold it and break past that $32,000 level. If we get past 32,000, I think that this thing is going to 40. It's going to go to the 40s. Miners have beat BTC this year. That's correct. Yeah, miners have been making a killing. Congrats to anybody who has been mining, because it's been a slog. Nobody has been making any mining. The sats per byte they got down to serious lows. They got down to 1 sat per byte. Miners don't make much when it's 1 sat per byte. They really don't. They're only making the block reward. They get nothing in the mining transactions. But then with ordinal inscriptions, miners have been killing it. All right, we'll keep it short and sweet. That's all the time I got. Short and sweet is basically an hour. If you guys enjoyed this content, please leave it a like. Don't forget to subscribe if you are interested in signing up for the Black Box free Bitcoin trading bot. Check out the links below. And yeah, until next time, please trade safe. It is a jungle out there. Peace.